Hey guys, here is the Love from Lizzie August card kit. Here are my card bases. We're going to jump right on in. The kit came with white cardstock, but it is alcohol marker friendly. So I brought in my own white card bases and saved the other sheets to use my alcohol markers. For card one, out of breath, hello. For card one, I used that little greenery or whatever dye to cut out some gold mirror cardstock that I had in my stash. And I'm stamping out this sentiment from a honeybee stamp set. I'll have everything I used linked below. I don't remember where I got that little flourish dye. It may have been in a previous Love from Lizzie kit. I have no idea. I don't remember. So I've taken this striped gold paper that came in the card kit. And if you haven't checked out the unboxing, definitely go check it out so you know what came in the kit and what didn't. I'll link that above and below. So I added tape adhesive to the back, but I decided to go and pop this up because I wanted to tuck in those little flourish pieces behind the sentiment. Trimmed it off and I'm adhering it to my card base, and I'm going to go ahead and use glue dots to adhere these. With this kit, I did bring in more than I like of products that weren't included in the kit, but I'll let you know what is from my stash. And when I do that, I try to keep things pretty generic, you know, stamp sets or whatever your preference, whatever you're making the card for. But dyes and stuff I try to keep generic. So this is kind of a flourish, it reminds me of berries dye, but you could bring in leaves, any kind of floral element to create a similar card. And I tucked all those back there, adhering them with glue dots, and then that will complete card one. I did keep these cards pretty simple because the paper is so pretty. I didn't want too much going on. So for card two, I've taken this big Celebrate stamp set that comes in the kit, and I'm using a, oh, and I forgot what the ink pad's called. It's the gold pigment ink pad. I'll have it linked below. I need to remember to link it. But as you can see, it's stamped kind of splotchy. And ink pad's really pretty. I wish I could remember what it's called. It was a big deal for a while. It came in a Simon's stamp kit. I don't remember. But anyway, I stamped it out. And I don't know why my footage is gone of me stamping out the white panel. But that was a stamp from the kit as well. And I stamped just a few on that white panel. I adhered the Let's Celebrate sentiment from, I fussy cut it out, adhered it with some Stampin' Dimensionals to give it some dimension, and then I used the die that came in the kit and I cut out the gift. Now the black glitter cardstock and kind of the rose gold cardstock that's glitter I had in my stash. And I'm pretty sure it's from Love from Lizzie previous kits. I tried to pull previously from her kit for some of this cardstock. And the little stars that cut out of the gift were great to add as little embellishments. So I'm just adding some glue and then popping those stars on. And that will complete this card. I don't necessarily like how the sentiment was stamped out, but I kept it in just so you can get an idea of what you can do. But if you want to stamp this out with ink, I suggest you have some sort of stamping tool. I highly doubt you would get it in the first try. Anyway, I am now heat embossing it. I'm like, let's try heat embossing, which this worked a lot better. I stamped it once with my Versamark, and all I had was a little splotch at the top. And I'm going to bring in this Ranger clear embossing pen and kind of fill it in. And then I add more embossing powder. Now, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what it was. And then I heat emboss it, which is perfect. This embossing powder is wonderful. It's fine silver embossing powder from the kit. It's Love from Lizzie's embossing powder, and it's great. I love the fine embossing powder. So throughout this video, you'll see me using scraps of fun foam. So weird colors, weird shapes, and this is one of them. And I go ahead and adhere that down. What I will say is make sure on each of the corners of this shape that you have adhesive, because those started to curl up on me. So I would go back and add little pieces of fun foam or Stampin' Dimensionals if they weren't a different height, just to give those corners some stability and not curling up, since the paper was heated. So I used some of the velvet ribbon that comes in the kit. I just kind of tie it around or wrap it around the panel. This gold foiled paper that I'm using, and all of them with the gold embellishments, is quite thin. So you have to be careful when adding ribbon or anything like that, that you don't, the paper doesn't buckle on you. So definitely need strong adhesive in this instance for the ribbon. And making sure the ribbon doesn't pull the cardstock up is what I'm trying to say in way too many words. So here I'm just using glue dots to add some sequins that came in the kit throughout the little card panel. And that will complete that card. For card 4, I am using some black cardstock, and I'm taking this little diamond stamp. It's so cute. And I'm going to cover the whole panel with this diamond and heat emboss it. Now, I was being really sloppy with this. You can get a really fine stamped image with that diamond. Some I did, some I didn't. I pushed too hard when I was stamping it. But just know that I was being lazy and didn't want to go back and restamp it or anything, so I just went with it. But you can see some of the images are a little bit more finer than the others. So I had finished the rest, and I'm adding some adhesive, and I'm adhering on my black card base. And then I'm taking this piece of black cardstock and stamping up this image that comes in the kit, and again heat embossing it. And I'm taking one of the little sentiments that came in the stamp set and stamping that, trying to see my best, stamping that in the center, and then I'm going to heat emboss that as well. It says, best and loveliest friend. Then I take a piece of mirror, this is kind of an afterthought, mirror gold cardstock, I believe this is what it is. And again, this is from a previous Love from Lizi kit. Adhere that down, just to kind of give it a break in the pattern from my sentiment piece. And then I go and pop this up and adhere that down, and that will complete that card. For card 5, I decided to bust out this stencil. I peel it off and I go ahead and attach it to my cardstock panel. Remember, this is a sticky stencil, but it will come off easily. It doesn't leave a sticky residue. I'm using this Nuvo Gold Embossing Paste, first time using it. And I'm just spreading it out on my panel. Now, I was reminded when I peeled this stencil off how delicate this stencil is. Lizi had included not a similar one, but one of these sticky stencils in a previous kit, and I actually tore a piece off of it by accident. So when I peel this off, you will see that one of the circles doesn't peel off with it. It actually breaks off and stays on the paper. So here I am, I'm taking it off, and then right there to the right, you see a white circle. There we go, peeling that off. That was not supposed to stay. It was supposed to peel off with the stencil. So be careful when peeling this stencil off. There are delicate lines, and it will come off right with it. So just be warned. I've taken a piece of gold glitter cardstock from my stash, and then this doily from my stash, and just putting these pieces together. I had stamped out a thank you from a different stamp set from my stash. The stamp set in the kit came with a couple sentiments, but like I've said before, I sell my cards, so I try to use sentiments that would sell, and that's the only reason. But the stamp set that it came with two perfectly fine sentiments. So I adhere my panel down, and I go ahead and adhere this piece down. And then that completes that card. I I take a circle punch and I take some of the cardstock, various cardstock, quite a few, and the vellum, and just punch out circles. And I ran, and I was not recording, but I ran some of the circles through my Xyron sticker maker, which will make an appearance later in the video. And that just creates stickers. So this is a lot easier to adhere this type of design when they're a sticker, because you don't have to worry about adding adhesive and the edges or whatever not having adhesive. For the rest of them that I did not run through the Xyron sticker maker, the edge pieces, I'm just using some glue adhesive. And adhering those. Now, with the sticker, it came a little bit of gunky stuff. So I'm using my Tombow Mono eraser, sand eraser, and erasing some of that gunk. It came right off. Then again, my little fun colors of fun foam scraps, adhering that down to give it some dimension. And then I'm going to take, I didn't have a gold strip. I did have mirror cardstock, but that was a different gold. So I took this piece of pattern, this piece of paper that came in the kit, and I just cut a gold strip out of that pattern. And I am adding some double-sided tape, and I'm going to adhere that down. Again, giving it a break in the pattern so when I add my sentiment doesn't get lost. I'm going to pop that up with Stampin' Dimensionals or foam squares. Adhere that down, and then I do add some sequins just to give it a little extra something. I did not make a shaker card this time, so I have plenty of sequins to work with. And there's me picking up my trash. I don't know why I didn't edit that out. For card 7, here's my sticker maker, and I had run this piece of vellum through the sticker maker. Of course, it's off-center, so that edge there did not get any adhesive, but it's fine. It sticks perfectly fine. And I stick this directly to my card base. I love my Xyron sticker maker for adhering vellum. Vellum can be kind of a pain in the butt whenever you're trying to adhere it and you don't want the adhesive to show. So the sticker maker works out perfectly. And I have the big one. You can get smaller ones, which ideally I would like to get a smaller one as well, because sometimes I don't have something that big to run through the machine and you end up wasting a lot of product. So having both can be an advantage. I went ahead and used some mirror cardstock and silver glitter paper from my stash to cut out these little gifts. Again, the die comes in the kit. It also came with a little tag, which I forgot to use, but that would have been adorable to add to the little gifts, the little tag die. And again, just taking some glue, and I am adding the stars that were cut out from the gift. And I'm just using a little poker tool and then my reverse tweezers to grab the stars. And of course, having trouble with this one, it flipped over on me, but won't make you sit through and watch all this. I went ahead and stamped out my sentiment on some black cardstock, heat embossed it with that silver embossing powder, and used a banner die to cut it out, die cut it out. And again, I'm going to add some stars to that. And then that will complete that card. I really like the little star pieces. Don't throw those away. Those are adorable. Some are a little too small to use, but most of them can work. And that completes that card. For card 8, I'm taking these little pennant or bunting pieces, and they were scored at the top. And I just cut that score mark off. And here I sped it up quite a bit. I'm laying them all out to adhere on the card, just making sure I get my placement right. And then what you could have done, you could have taken saran wrap. Is that what I'm thinking of? No. Press and seal. There we go. Not saran wrap. Oh my gosh. Press and seal. And you could have put the press and seal on top of this pattern, then lifted all the pieces up, add adhesive, and then put it back down. I've done that in previous videos. It's a great tip if you have a layout you like but don't want to undo it to add adhesive. But I went ahead and just picked up each individual triangle and adhere them down with wet glue. This, like I said, this paper is thin. So if you do this design, don't use wet glue because it all kind of buckled on me. And I wouldn't use the card because it buckled on me. So just use some tape adhesive if you create this design, or use less glue. Maybe I used too much glue. Anyway, I stamped out a sentiment that was from my stash, and I used this little frame die from my stash to cut it out. And here I'm just taking some gold thread and making kind of a bird's nest. So I'm wrapping it around my finger. It's very sloppy. It's supposed to be. And then I just kind of wrap it and then plop it on my sentiment piece, making sure the ends are adhered to the adhesive. I don't want any ends of the thread sticking out. And then I add some Stampin' Dimensionals to pop it up, and then I go ahead and adhere it down. So it just gives it a little bit of interest. It's a big old mess, but I kind of like the look. And that will complete that card. For card 9, I'm taking a piece of the, this is white cardstock, and I added some adhesive. I'm going to take this little polka dot pattern paper and adhere that down. I'm going to trim it off. I actually like this card. It's a very simple design, but I like it. I take these lovely peel-offs. Finally, I'm using them. I'm like, I must make a card using the peel-offs. They're so pretty. They are black. But like I said in the unboxing, when the light hits it, sometimes it almost looks like a really dark blue. Anyway, so I adhere the peel off to the edge of the pattern paper just to give it a finished look. And I'm using a stamp from my stash. It says, I think, happy birthday. I hope your birthday is as bubbly as you are, or something. Let's see. Hope your birthday is bubbly as you are. Happy birthday. So I like this sentiment because I like the format of it. That it's long and it fit perfectly in this spot. And the polka dots can look like bubbles. So I went ahead and added black Nuvo drops from the kit to each end of the sentiment. And that will complete that card. And here I'm just banging it on the desk so it kind of flattens those enamel dots out. For the final card, I'm taking the little star stamp that came in the stamp set. And I am just stamping stars. I'm using gray ink. And as I go up the card panel, I kind of space out the stars. And then I take these two little banner, pennant, bunting, whatever pieces, adhere them together. This one says you're a star, so I thought that was cute. Go ahead and adhere this. I adhere them together and then pop them up. And then I take a star die from my stash and I add, and some mirror silver cardstock from my stash from a previous kit, Love from Lizi kit. And I cut out 3 different sized stars and adhere them down. I like this card too. And that will complete once I adhere it down with my fun foam scraps. And that will complete those cards. I mistakenly did not show everything I had left in the kit, but I have a ton of stuff left in the kit. I also have that add-on that I got, the bumper pack. And I will, most people said a separate video, so stay tuned. I will be using the bumper pack in a separate video. It won't be like a 10 cards thing, but I will make several cards showing you how to use the bumper pack, because there was some different items that came in it. So stay tuned for that, coming soon, probably in a week or so. Let me know what your favorite card was. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. All links to Lizzie's information, her shop, the kit will be below. So if you're interested, definitely click on the links below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.